Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following. Indiana University's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, presenting Security Matters with tips for improving online security in 3 minutes or less. Main Source Bank, headquartered in Greensburg, Indiana, offering products and services to fit every stage of life. More information at mainsourcebank.com. Main Source, life needs a great bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Smithville Communications, serving Southern Indiana with high-speed fiber gigabit internet. Smithville Fiber Gigabit Technology. Tap the power.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk, President Obama calls for a review of how the United States handles hostage situations. We'll take a look at the life and death of an aid worker from Indianapolis who was captured and beheaded by Islamist militants and how his story is stirring Hoosiers to action.
People are seriously thinking about what they're called to do. So that's his legacy, is that it's kind of a kick in the pants to the rest of us.
Bloomington is attracting new businesses, and that's causing some to worry how the city's downtown will change.
As our city gets bigger, our market becomes more enticing for a wide variety of businesses. People try to evaluate how that business will either detract or contribute to what the community has to offer.
And our education team explains the debate over whether the state superintendent should be elected or appointed. These stories and a look at this week's top headlines.
It was an overwhelming year.
Right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Hello, I'm Joe Wren and welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. The Indianapolis native who died at the hands of the so-called Islamic State was adopted. Abdul Rahman Kassig's parents, Ed and Paula, released a statement proudly acknowledging that fact yesterday, and his birth family is starting to speak out. We'll have more on that in a few minutes. But first, as Hoosiers mourn the death of Kassig, a full review of the United States hostage policy is underway. After ISIS released a video earlier this week showing they'd killed Kassig, the White House revealed President Obama had already asked for the country's hostage policy to be examined. Barbara Harrington explains what it could mean for Americans taken captive and how the Hoosier state is coping with Kassig's death.
For 6 weeks, Ed and Paula Kassig did everything they could to try and convince the so-called Islamic State to release their son. They reached out to the militants on social media and put out a video statement pleading for them to spare Kassig's life.
We implore those who are holding you to show mercy and use their power to let you go.
But they didn't let him go. Early Sunday morning, ISIS released a video showing evidence of Kassig's death.
A while ago, we were informed that our beloved son, Abdul Rahman, no longer walks this earth.
ISIS captured Kassig in October 2013 while he was delivering medical supplies in Syria. The United States government has remained silent on any efforts they might have taken to try and secure his release. But the beheadings of Kassig and journalists James Foley and Stephen Sotloff are causing the country to re-examine its policies on how it deals with hostages taken overseas. The White House says the Department of Defense, State Department, and FBI are all involved in the review.
This review does not include a reconsideration of a long-standing policy of the United States government that ransoms should not be paid to terrorist organizations that are holding hostages.
President Obama won't budge on the issue of ransom because he, along with several other politicians, argues negotiating with terrorists would only encourage them to capture Americans.
We don't want to put other American citizens at even greater risk when they're around the globe. And that knowing that terrorist organizations can extract a ransom from the United States if they take a hostage only puts American citizens at greater risk.
Experts don't expect any dramatic changes to come out of the review. But as terrorist organizations like ISIS evolve, they say the country's hostage policy could use some updating.
I think everybody would agree that we have to at least strengthen our ability to use special operation forces, if the situation is right, to go in and try to release an American captive.
While Washington considers whether to make changes, Hoosiers who showed their support for the Kassig family during Abdul Rahman's captivity are coming to grips with the loss of one of their own. And just as Abdul Rahman turned to Islam for comfort while in captivity, the Kassigs are relying on their faith to help them work through their grief.
Our hearts are battered, but they will mend. The world is broken, but it will be healed in the end. And good will prevail, as the one God of many names will prevail.
Throughout the long weeks they waited for word of their son, the Kassigs say they received overwhelming support, evident by the hundreds who showed up to vigils in Abdul Rahman's honor.
The families not only felt the support of this congregation, but as well as the Islamic community and worldwide, people telling them stories of ways that he has made a difference, either physically and in person, or just his story has impacted their life.
In June, Kassig's parents received a letter from their son that a freed captive managed to smuggle out when he was released. In it, the 26-year-old wrote, "If I do die, I figure that at least you and I can seek refuge and comfort in knowing that I went out as a result of trying to alleviate suffering and helping those in need." Friends and family say Abdul Rahman made more of a difference than he could ever imagine.
When we were at the prayer service in Fishers at the mosque, when his father was speaking, I leaned to his mother and I said, "Your son went to Syria to make a difference, but he's also making a difference here." It has begun to open dialogue between the Muslim community and the Christian community. And just people are seriously thinking about what they're called to do. So that's his legacy, is that it's kind of a kick in the pants to the rest of us.
Community support is continuing to pour in for the Kassig family. Earlier today, dozens of people attended a Muslim funeral prayer service at the Al-Huda Center in Fishers. Another prayer service is planned for tomorrow at the Indiana Inter-Church Center. And the family will hold a Muslim Christian service in honor of Abdul Rahman at Butler University Sunday. Reporter Barbara Harrington joins us now for more. Boy, this is just so heartbreaking. And now we hear actually from the birth parents.
That's exactly right, Joe. Yesterday, Ed and Paula Kassig released that statement acknowledging that, yes, they had adopted Abdul Rahman. They said that they were very thankful and grateful to his mother, Rhonda Schwint, who chose them to be his parents, but also said that Rhonda and her children are also grieving. He has a sister, Jana, and a brother, Sam.
I wonder if he had any contact with his birth parents during that time.
Well, the Indy Star did talk to them, and they reported that he did, once he turned 18, reach out to his birth mother and his siblings, and he actually started a relationship with them, and they formed a really close bond over the past several years.
Did the family say anything on how they plan to remember Abdul Rahman?
Well, to them, he will always be Peter. That's how they remembered him. They said he was a proud Army Ranger, but most importantly to them, he was a goofy older brother, very loving. So, of course, they're struggling very much right now as well. And Rhonda even wrote on her Facebook earlier this month on November 11th that, quote, "I want my son Peter home safely." So just a heartbreaking situation. It's so hard to watch both of these families go through this.
And then how about that organization that he started? What's going to happen with that?
So that organization was called Sarah, and the family spokesperson for the Kassig family said that they ceased operations after Abdul Rahman was captured in Syria last October, and that they really cannot resume operations or really exist without him leading the way, because he was such an integral part. He founded that organization.
Barbara, thank you very much for your reporting on this. And now for headlines, we go over to Alex Dirkman, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thank you, Joe. Hoosiers are having mixed reactions to President Obama's plan to stop deporting the parents of unauthorized immigrants who have been in the country for at least 5 years. The Indiana Attorney General and Indiana's U.S. Senators Dan Coats and Joe Donnelly say President Obama does not have the legal authority to do what he is proposing. But immigrants and immigration reform advocates say this is the opportunity they've been waiting for.
We just need a chance. We need they believe in us. We just come to the United States to try to contribute it to the community and try to be a better life for all the family.
A Pew Research study released this week indicates there were about 85,000 undocumented immigrants in Indiana as of 2012. A man on death row is getting relief after a St. Joseph County Superior Court judge ruled he is not mentally fit to be executed. Michael Dean Overstreet was sentenced to death in 2000 for the 1997 rape and murder of Franklin College student Kelly Eckhart. In the years since that conviction, psychiatric experts have reported Overstreet in a state of confusion with a severe mental illness growing progressively worse over time. The Attorney General's office could appeal the ruling. The argument for legalizing Sunday alcohol sales is getting a boost. Indiana Chamber of Commerce officials say they plan to push the legislature next year to lift the ban on selling alcohol on Sundays. But the group that represents liquor stores is opposing the chamber's decision, saying Sunday sales would hurt liquor stores' bottom lines. The federal government is allowing Indiana to keep its Healthy Indiana plan for another year. The plan is the state's alternative to Medicaid and covers about 60,000 low-income Hoosiers. The U.S. Health and Human Services Department still has not decided whether to approve the new version of the Healthy Indiana plan known as HIP 2.0. If approved, that proposal would use federal dollars to cover an additional 350,000 Hoosiers. It's considered an alternative to traditional Medicaid expansion, but requires some participants to pay into the system. This week marks the one-year anniversary of more than 24 tornadoes that swept across the state, damaging hundreds of homes. Gretchen Frazee reports about one community that's still rebuilding.
This was the two-car garage, and over here was the house connected to the garage.
Phyllis Rollins was on a trip in Kentucky when she got the phone call. Her house had been hit by a tornado.
I got a picture on my phone of my home, and the top part of my home on my phone was over on the next street. And so, needless to say, I was devastated.
The home was unsalvageable, and now the lot where Rollins' house used to be stands vacant. But in other parts of this neighborhood, homes and buildings have been repaired or are being rebuilt. In some cases, the process has been slow going.
We had tornadoes the third Sunday of November. We had a few days of nice weather, and then it became very cold very quickly and lasted a long time. Made it a little difficult to get through the winter, and things were a little slower than we had wanted.
Mayor Goodnight says the city expedited building permits, and city officials plan to invest more money to improve the look and amenities of the neighborhood hit by the storm.
It's not defined us. It's not something that we're going to throw our hands up in the air or just complain about it. I look at it as a temporary setback, and we've dust ourselves off and go on.
On the other hand, Rollins says the tornadoes have changed Kokomo for the better.
It's made the community become more sensitive to one another, and to help reach out to people that are hurting, that are in need, that need our help. And I go places and they all remember me, and it's just a different kind of feeling now.
Rollins now lives in a condo and says despite the hardships she's faced, she feels as grateful as ever.
I am so blessed, and I have a heart of thanksgiving. Not just one day a year, but every day I have a heart of thanksgiving.
The Indiana State Excise Police is increasing its patrols around college campuses during late night and early morning hours. A state police spokesman says the decision to increase patrols off campus comes after recent incidents of crime around several Indiana college and university campuses, including 2 sexual assaults near the Indiana University campus. The police will be patrolling largely between midnight and 4 a.m. Terre Haute is home to a new food pantry whose target clients are students at 5 college campuses in the Wabash Valley. The United Campus Ministries board chair says the pantry is needed because nowadays there are fewer conventional students enrolling.
Many of them are independent, many of them are second career people, many of them have jobs that simply do not cover their expenses because school is expensive.
Right now, students can only visit the pantry once a month, but McIntyre says she hopes they will soon be able to offer more assistance. And data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture shows wholesale frozen turkey prices per pound are up about 14 cents from the same time last year, largely because of a drop in supply and a rise in feed costs. But many grocery stores sell turkeys below the wholesale price just to get customers in the door. So, Joe, the number one factor on where you get your turkey this year is which store you're going to go to.
So it will pay off to shop around for turkey then,
yes,
huh?
It will.
Hard to believe, almost here. Do you have your turkey yet?
No.
Well, you better get going. They're almost gone. Thanks, Alex. Yes. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. As Bloomington's downtown becomes more developed, some worry it won't retain its iconic feel.
If we're growing too fast, well, it's a matter of opinion, and mine is that we're not. And I'm here, I have a bird's eye view of it.
And should the state superintendent be appointed instead of elected? The ongoing debate gets a new push. Our state impact education team breaks down the story. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The fact that PBS is the most trusted media outlet in the country means a great deal to me. We live now in the most multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic America ever. There are a lot of voices in this country that need to be heard. I think that my job is to help Americans re-examine the assumptions that they hold, to expand their inventory of ideas, and hopefully to introduce Americans to each other. And we take that challenge seriously every day.
People are looking for more light and less heat. Washington Week viewers are going to get it straight ahead, and that's what they count on us for. When we do these road shows, it not only helps me, but it helps all of our panelists to find out what is really on people's minds. We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think. That's what I think is unique about public broadcasting. There's nothing else like it out there.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Many cities have that iconic downtown destination that sets it apart from other places. Bloomington's Kirkwood Avenue plays host to many eateries, shops, bars, and festivals. As the city continues to grow, so do the developments on the stretch of land that some worry is losing what makes it unique. Kirkwood Avenue stretches 8 blocks, linking Bloomington's downtown courthouse to Indiana University's Sample Gates, a metaphor perhaps of two entities that make up the city's heart and soul.
And when people return to Bloomington who've ever been here, that's where they go, that's home.
The area is almost always a bustle of activity from eclectic restaurants, shops, and businesses, and hosts most of Bloomington's nightlife. Leanne Mary moved to Kirkwood Avenue a little more than a year ago, seeking a lifestyle change.
My friends would say, well, what are you doing? Where are you going? Are you leaving? What are you doing? And I said, no, I'm going downtown. And they said, why are you going downtown? I said, because I can. I want to try it. I want to try it. I've always loved the big cities. I love the energy of the people.
Mary says she loves having everything, including her job, just a few blocks away.
And if we're growing too fast, well, it's a matter of opinion, and mine is that we're not.
Some buildings still hint that at one time it was like any other downtown street, homes converted into storefront shops. But now new high-rises and hotels are filling in downtown, ranking Bloomington the 7th largest city in the state. Mayor Cruzan and city officials are learning how to deal with change without losing what they say makes Bloomington, Bloomington.
It's the old adage, the bigger isn't necessarily better. And Kirkwood is going to change. I mean, the property values with the new ownership of all those buildings, it's clearly going to change.
The latest proposals are 3 large-scale developments on land owned by Old National Bank. The parcels make up almost an entire block between Kirkwood and 4th Street, across from First Christian Church and the Monroe County Public Library. The proposals include a 6-story, 150-room hotel called The Graduate, with retail and meeting space along with a 74-car garage. Then there's a 3-story retail bank branch with drive-through that would house O&B's Bloomington office headquarters and 7 townhome units. And third, a 4-story mixed-use development with a restaurant, retail shops, and apartments, along with an 84-car garage.
Because we then were dealing with one developer and all the properties were under that umbrella, it made sense to evaluate them together rather than separately because we wanted to gauge the total impacts.
3 large downtown church congregations worry they'll have nowhere to park and voice their concern at the first Planning Commission meeting.
But never before this time have we seen the changes of such immense scope and size come before us.
For years, O&B Properties allowed churchgoers to park on their surface lots. But Cruzan says it was never the city's parking to begin with.
What is needed is parking, public parking in the downtown area. And as I've said, again, going back 16, 18 months, is that eventually meter revenue, as we've paid for the meters themselves, one of the many things that it can go into is to establish additional public parking downtown.
Besides parking, Cruzan became worried that chain restaurants and businesses would diminish what makes Bloomington unique. So he tried to ban them from downtown. City Council compromised and approved an ordinance that set up a review process for chain businesses trying to move into downtown. So the chain stores can move in, they just have to have a distinct look from any other community in the country.
That was what most of the opponents to my proposal said, was the balance hasn't tipped. I just don't understand why we would wait until it tips before we step in.
So this is normal, this is expected, but it's change, and change is challenging, and that's the process we're going through right now.
The next Planning Commission meeting for the Kirkwood proposals is December 8th. If the Commission approves development changes since their last meeting, then it's up to City Council to approve the removal of 2 public right-of-ways for the developments to move forward. And as you may have heard earlier this week, Bloomington Mayor Mark Cruzan told us that he will not run for mayor in 2015. He says after 12 years, it's time to shake things up at City Hall. Cruzan was elected as state representative for Bloomington in 1986 until he decided to enter the 2003 race for Bloomington mayor and has been reelected 2 times since.
Everything that I ran for was to protect the uniqueness of Bloomington, and that's why I've been concerned about I-69. I think the homogenization of a community is a dangerous thing, and what I loved about Bloomington, the reason I chose to stay here in Bloomington, was how eclectic it is. And I worry as we grow, and we're growing population-wise, geographically, we're growing in size of buildings, that it's important to put measures in place that really protect that uniqueness. And so when I was unable to get that done, I really started to think it might be time for a new vision for what we want for our community. We've done so many good things over the years.
Cruzan's decision not to run opens the mayoral race for next year. Former Ivy Tech Chancellor and current Deputy Mayor John Weikart says he is giving very serious consideration to run for mayor and will make a decision with his family over the holidays. Earlier this week, the Chamber of Commerce outlined their legislative priorities, which includes changing the role of state superintendent from an elected position to an appointed position. State Impact Indiana education reporter Claire McInerney joins us to talk about why this is coming up now. Claire, has this proposal come up before?
Right, it has, and this isn't anything new, especially considering that Indiana is only one of 12 states to elect their state superintendent. So everyone's kind of saying, let's be in line with other places, make it an appointed position like other state agency heads. Chamber President Kevin Brinegar told reporters Monday that he's been saying this for years. It's nothing new for the chamber. What is new is that they're really pushing for it right now, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Glenda Ritz is the current state superintendent.
So why is that?
This has become controversial because it's no secret that Republicans don't really like her in her position. They would like to see they would like to see her appointed just like any other head. She's also said that she will run for re-election in 2016, and it seems if the chamber is pushing for it to be appointed now, they're taking away that possibility of her to be able to do so. So her supporters are kind of up in arms about the timing of this. The chamber president also cited the tension between Ritz and Republican governor appointees to her state board as another reason for the change. He said that the dysfunction between this board, as well as the conflict between the Department of Education, which she runs, and his similar organization could be solved if they were all appointed.
Excuse me, really short. What does the state law say about this too?
All they would need is to have a majority of the legislature to vote to make it a appointed position.
Okay, thank you very much, Claire.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
And 200 Christmas trees are being shipped from Indiana to troops overseas. Tree farms throughout the state bring the Christmas trees to Dahl's Tree Farm in Thorntown, where volunteers put them in boxes and load them into FedEx trucks to be shipped out. Volunteers say they hope their work brings the troops who can't be home for Christmas a little extra holiday cheer.
I was never in the military, but I am thankful for those that are, because I have take advantage of all the freedoms that they provide for me, and so this is just a small way that I'm able to help bring a little bit of Christmas spirit to them overseas.
The National Trees for Troops program is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. Indiana has participated in the program for 9 years. And that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news in southern Indiana throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following. Indiana University's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, presenting Security Matters, with tips for improving online security in 3 minutes or less. Main Source Bank, headquartered in Greensburg, Indiana, offering products and services to fit every stage of life. More information at mainsourcebank.com. Main Source, life needs a great bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Smithville Communications, serving southern Indiana with high-speed fiber gigabit internet. Smithville Fiber Gigabit Technology. Tap the power.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.